Bienvenidos a M2 y seguimos felices e impactadas, Ivett Salgado, con la cantidad de cosas, estrenos, estrellas, con quienes hemos estado teniendo la oportunidad de platicar. Y hoy te toca a ti, hoy es todo tuyo.
Hemos compartido sobre muchos estrenos, Susi, y en esta ocasión nos toca hablar de dos grandes en el cine y en la televisión. Estoy hablando de Kit Harington, como olvidar a Jon Snow, ¿verdad? Y a Matt Damon con Casey Affleck, en producciones completamente distintas. Así que, pues, si quieres, comenzamos un poco hablando de Industry, que justamente llega a su tercera temporada. HBO, Susana, con una historia que nos lleva al mundo empresarial, que nos lleva al mundo de las finanzas. Y ustedes dirán, ¿qué tiene eso de interesante?
Bueno.
Todo porque Kit Harington entra ya para la tercera temporada con como un empresario de tecnologías verdes, y la historia va en esta etapa de cómo se relaciona la ética, el dinero, el poder y las tecnologías verdes con toda la historia.
A ver.
You're now the UK's largest renewable energy company.
Why are you pushing this IPO? Are you even profitable?
You know, ever since Pierpoint put you on this, I feel like my luck has turned.
For the better.
So, Kit, how has it been for you to become the leader of a green technology company? It is not the first time that you have a story like this, but I think it becomes necessary to talk about the environment and how we affect it.
I think it's very like current, right? It's kind of we're looking at how this world, this sort of financial world, and people within it are monopolizing and using the climate crisis to make money. And I think Henry is one of those people who sees this as a great opportunity to make his mark. And actually, that's the conflict there. Is like, this has to be a kind of selfless thing, but for him, it's ultimately selfish, and that's what ends up causing so much damage.
Yeah, of course. So, Marisa, when I watched the series, I couldn't stop thinking about all the stress these characters are under, because only money matters. So, I think this is a good opportunity to talk about mental health. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that one of the issues with industry as the world that we're playing in is that it's not really a valued topic. I think that people feel that they have to enter certain discussions, and characters like Eric feel that they have to ensure people feel okay, but that's not really a priority. The priority is always, cash is king in this world, and if you're not sort of presenting as capable of that, then you're out.
The management of money in relation to ethics and what should be the right thing to do. So how complex is that? Because in real life, ethics and money are almost never together.
It's a really good question. It's at the crux of what we wanted to explore from a business point of view. I mean, usually when we come up with a season, we kind of come up with an industry we want to explore outside of finance. So season 2 was healthcare. Season 3 was energy. We thought, okay, how can we look at the energy industry through a very the show lens? And then there's obviously this phenomenon which has been around for the last sort of half decade to decade of ethical investment. And it's been at the forefront of a lot of the business practices of investment banks and investment companies in the last 10 years. And we always thought, okay, a great exploration of that would be exactly what you said, which is like, are those two things, ethics and money, able to actually sit next to each other? And how real and altruistic is the pursuit of ethics within a within an ecosystem or scenario where actually money is really the most important factor in determining value. And if good ideas that are originally good or altruistic, can they be corrupted by bad people? So that was all the stuff we wanted to explore, and we wanted to explore whether is it possible to be ethical in this environment? Is it possible to actually push ethics or ethical business practices within this environment? Or when the rubber hits the road and there's basically a choice between yourself, the health of the company or the institution and what is the right thing to do, what wins out. And that kind of is what the season is about in some respects.
I think in season 3, while the show is still dense and the dialogue is still true to life, and I'm sure a lot of people will think that the show hasn't become more accessible, we both think done a slightly better job from season 2 to season 3 of just laying out the foundations of this is the trading floor, this is an IPO that they're doing, there's one desk, there's one piece of business, these are the newspapers, this is British politics, and there is a kind of ecosystem at play there, which instead of suggesting it lives outside the trading floor, we're trying to take people through it a little bit more.
As you said, Harper has had to face so many challenges beyond the work. She's a woman, she's Black, she's young, she's different. What kind of learning did you have with a character like her?
Oh boy, what a great question. I mean, she's so, I think like one of the biggest lessons in this character for me and for like our audience at large and whoever is like, if I imagine myself as a consumer of this show, I mean, I watch it too, you know what I mean? I feel very seen by Harper because she is so non-conventional. Like she's never doing anything you expect her to do, her archetype to do, all the stereotypes you might imagine, like, oh, she's a Black American woman, so she must be XYZ, she must feel ABC, you know, and she usually doesn't. And that to me is the definition of representation, because us as a people in all our diversity and all our multitudes are not just one thing. We are not archetypes. We are individuals. So although she's not idyllic necessarily, she's human. And I feel very seen by that.
Excelente. Esto es Max, bajo la marca HBO, pero dentro de Max. Y luego nos vamos a Apple TV. Qué barbaridad, qué películas más buenas están haciendo.
Y hemos hablado mucho de la plataforma también por todo lo que han estado estrenando, y esta ocasión nos toca hablar de Instigators, que es la nueva película de Matt Damon con Casey Affleck.
Ok, amigos para siempre. Amigos para siempre, te encargo a mi hermano chiquito, bro.
Exacto. Porque, bueno, los tres, de hecho, su historia desde Hollywood, sus inicios, cómo castearon, cómo han ido haciendo película tras película, y creo que lo que han procurado es que cuando se juntan, ya sea Ben Affleck o Casey o Matt en algún momento de la vida, es hacer películas más personales, y esta lo es. Aquí están dando vida a dos hombres, un padre desesperado por las finanzas y un ex convicto, que se tienen que unir para realizar un robo.
Ok.
¿No lo logran?
O sea, es una de las series de los criminales más estúpidos del cine.
Exacto. Me gusta. Pero no estoy diciendo mucho de la historia porque todo tiene que ver con otro tipo de desarrollo. Pero ¿qué se aprende en el uno del otro en el set? Esto nos cuenta.
Down before they can talk. Everybody in New England is after us.
I gotta speak to you. I really need you right now, Doc.
I would be breaking the law.
What if I took you hostage? I mean, like, you know, with your permission.
What kind of conversation is this?
You have known each other from a while, but I like to know what do you learn from each other when you are making a movie?
Oh, that's a good question. I learn something every time I work with Casey. I don't like to admit that to him, but you know, he's a great actor, and he takes a lot of chances. He improvises a lot. He thinks very deeply about every scene, so he's very prepared, but he's also very relaxed, which allows him to be available to any kind of good idea that comes along in the moment. And so that makes him very present. So if you just lock into him and what he's doing, the scene's going to go in a really interesting way.
And what about you, Casey?
I think Matt's one of those actors that is like, can not only sort of think about his own character and his own performance and how he's serving the movie, but also can take a step back and see the whole movie and see how he needs to, how all the different parts should be working together, and see if he can do anything to help those parts work together. So he thinks like a director, can think like a director, and as well
especially
as an actor.
when I'm acting.
Bueno, y no están solos ellos. Hablas de que están en terapia, hablas de la salud mental y alguien en particular en el elenco te dijo de qué va.
Exactamente, Hong Chau, que es quien interpreta a la doctora Rivera, pues nos habla justamente de su personaje, que es la terapeuta del personaje de Matt Damon, y lo curioso es que la mitad de la película se desarrolla en un contexto en el que se está hablando de salud mental, algo que ya no nos resulta ajeno, Susi, en la pantalla, que me parece sumamente importante.
Y en la vida también es bien importante, todos deberíamos estar en terapia.
Absolutely. So talking about mental health is important, and I think that I love your character for that reason. So how important is for you to touch these kind of topics in a story like this?
You know, I personally haven't done any therapy myself, but Casey has, and he's happy to talk about it. And I know that mental health is a thing that people are becoming more and more aware of. And I think that the younger generation, their relationship to mental health and therapy is so different from like older generations, or, you know, I'm not that old, but I consider myself a part of that generation where you didn't really talk about going to therapy and you didn't really admit if you were, you know? And I think it's a little bit more accessible to people now. Like me growing up, I just kind of seemed like therapy was a thing for more privileged people. Like I didn't really think of therapy as being like a thing that immigrants did, you know? So it's definitely very interesting for me to sort of kind of observe what's happening with that trend.
Vaya que hay cosas, vaya que hay estrenos y vaya que estábamos preocupados no solamente por la temporada, sino también creíamos que por la huelga de actores y escritores el año pasado, este iba a ser como un verano muy vacío de... ¿No, hombre? ¿Qué cantidad de estrenos?
Y me alegra que así sea porque tenemos mucho más para compartir.
Así es, y gracias por todas estas entrevistas a las plataformas, a los estudios. Siempre estaremos ahí para traerles lo mejor a ustedes. Ivett Salgado, muchísimas gracias.
Un gusto como siempre, Susi.
Muchas gracias a todo este maravilloso equipo y, ¿por qué no?, a Matt Damon. Nos cae bien. Hasta pronto.